Hello. Oh, that's upside down. Fun. Hello, welcome to today's stream. That opening theme was for Elise, the dubstep remix. Uh, Lots of fun. Been running from meeting to meeting to meeting today, and so I didn't do as much talking to start off. Also, Joe's here working today. If Joe, all good. Um, So I met with Tom today, and I have some answers and a lot of notes scribbled on napkins for what is coming next in Item Cloud. Some of the answers that we had for questions in the Salt Cloud working group. And let me open up my chat real quick. I need to be able. I taking a minute to load. And we're live. I can see the chat. So let's just talk through a couple of these issues. Let me read out some of what these notes are. One of the questions I've been getting, especially from VMware internal, but kind of other places we also talked about in the cloud working group, is Item Cloud or Salt Cloud? Which one is the answer? Which one is the magic bullet that will solve all of your problems? The answer, of course, is Item Cloud. I wouldn't be doing my evangelism properly if I didn't say that. But kind of the difference, Salt Cloud can look more simple, especially with Salt extensions. Like with Salt extensions, you have two files. You have a states file for your extension, and you have a modules file, and you just cram them full of everything you need for your cloud in one monolith of a file. So it can look more simple from the outside. But really, the reason why we need to go with Item Cloud is because it plugs into so many more things. Salt Cloud was designed in 2015, and it hasn't had any serious upgrades since then. Let's just talk about what some of those things are real quick. So, if you're excited about looking at code, then today isn't going to be as fun because we're looking at abstract concepts here. So here's my notes on a napkin. The reason we want to go with Idem is because Idem is a standalone project. Salt Cloud is not. But because Idem is a standalone project, we can use Idem Cloud in many different places in many different ways. For one, we can call Idem directly from VRA or from any other VMware products, which is obviously a priority for us. We can also call Idem Cloud from a runner on the Salt Master. That's another to-do. That's not something we can do yet, but we have the possibility of running Idem Cloud from a runner from the Salt Master, and we can also call Salt Cloud from, Salt Master can tell a minion to run exec modules on Idem Cloud, or you can just run Idem directly from the command line, or you can interact with it through Salt Config or Salt Stack Enterprise. So when we use Idem, we have so many different ways to do it because Idem Cloud is a tool. It's a standalone tool, works on its own. It's easy to integrate with everything. With Salt Cloud, for one, there's a lot of red tape around Salt Cloud because to get a PR into Salt, you have to have tests passing, and testing cloud is difficult. It's difficult within the Salt Cloud land. It's a real pain point right now. Salt extensions will make that a little easier. But still, testing Salt Cloud is something that is way simple in Idem land, and that's one of the reasons to go with Idem. For the great extensibility is another reason to go with Idem Cloud. The many different account plugins, another reason to go with Idem Cloud. And hopefully the better documentation will be a reason to use Item Cloud too soon. Derek is, as I understand, going to be working hard. And I have both been working hard and getting documentation up to scratch for Item Cloud. So it'll be, hopefully that will be one of the, not hopefully, that will be one of the selling points here soon, is that it's going to be well documented. So another of the pain points with Item Cloud was one of the things that was said in the cloud working group was that Item Cloud is not useful because you can't connect it to the event bus. Without being able to do orchestration around Item Cloud, you can do a ton of work migrating a Salt Cloud to Item Cloud, and then you just don't have beacons and reactors and orchestration the way that you do with Salt Cloud. Until recently, you wouldn't have been able to set up a minion with Item Cloud, but you can now because Heist is up to scratch. Heist can bootstrap a minion on a target with system B. So all that's lacking there is we need to write some documentation to show how all of these pieces fit together. I thought that when we wrote the item state module and the item exec module inside of Salt, so that Salt could run item stuff, I thought that was the be all end all. That poof, I hand you this module and now you can run item, and no one's gonna have any questions about it. It's obviously gonna be the thing to do, Item Cloud. But it wasn't. And there's obviously some more talk, some more integration, some more documentation on how do we get the credentials, how do we get the dependencies on the target that's running things. So that's what we need to do, is we need to document how to use Item Cloud from within Salt. That's going to be another one of the things that we're going to need to really solidify how to do. And not just how to use Item Cloud from within Salt, how to use Item Cloud within Salt Config, within Salt Stack Enterprise, how to use Item Cloud from BRA, and how do you use Item Cloud from a runner directly. Like we need to showcase all of the different ways to Item Cloud, and I think that will really help it take off. So we already have a beacon system. We have a project called Pop Beacons that gives us an ingress queue, an egress queue. We just need to write an egress plugin for Salt that can read item events from Item's event bus. So that's an integration I'm going to be looking at over the next few weeks. Is I'm going to solidify making Item Cloud useful inside of Salt. And then when it comes to what I was doing with Pop Create Item and the documentation, I have M and Derek helping out with documentation. And I've got teams inside of VMware that will pump out Item Clouds for VMware. So what I'm going to focus on is making Item Cloud useful inside of Salt for all of these different teams, all the people that are using it. So that's my goal. If you have any questions, so drop a comment. The other pain point that I kept hearing, especially inside of internally, was teams would look at Salt Cloud and Item Cloud and then choose to go with Salt Cloud because Item Cloud was too complex. And my answer to that concern is, of course it's complex. When I talked to Tom about it today, he said, well, Item Cloud is a battleship, and Salt Cloud is like a little sailboat. Of course, with the little sailboat, you can push it out on the ocean and instantly be going places. And the battleship, it takes, maybe not, let's not use a weaponized ship, a cruiser or a cruise ship. It requires an entire crew, a much more, you can't just push it off from the dock and be on your way. A cruise ship takes a lot more setup. It takes a lot more infrastructure in place to get it rolling, but you can do so much more. You can go much further. Your capabilities are much greater with the cruise ship than with the little sailboat. So, yes, Item Cloud is complex, but we need that complexity. So, especially with the versatility that it gives us. With our sailboat of Salt Cloud, we can only go so far. Sure, we can pack all our modules into just 2 files, pack all of our functions interacting with AWS into one giant file that works with Bodo Core, and you can use your AWS CLI credentials from the command line, and we've been using it for 5 years and it just works. And we really need to pour resources into fixing all of the bugs in Idem AWS and getting it super stable so that it works. That it's obviously the way to go. So that's where my goals are. Try to break it down into 3 pieces. Documentation is the big one. We need to make sure that clear how to use Item Cloud, how to write a new cloud in Item, and how to use Item Cloud within Salt, the many ways that that can happen. Documentation. Second thing is we need to actually build out that support, like having the event bus and beacons from Item and Item Cloud working inside of Salt. That's another integration I need on. And then third, we need to actually build out the clouds. And that goes into the pop create item where we're automatically generating exec modules. That goes into what Derek's doing with creating an item AWS auto, which will the goal with that is we would have we would be watching the Bodo Core repository, and when there was a change to the Bodo Core repository, we would automatically parse it, generate new exec modules based on the new Bodo Core features, and then release a new version automatically of Item AWS Auto. That would just have exec modules for AWS based on the Bodo Core. And then with Item AWS, every time there is a new release of Item AWS Auto, like we noticed, hey, last night Bodo Core released some stuff and Item AWS Auto did its thing, released a new version. We test it, we write states for it, we integrate it into Item AWS, and now we can keep up to date with all of the changing features of cloud. And that gives us the ability to keep up with something like Kubernetes. We write an item Kubernetes and we automatically generate execution modules. We can potentially keep up to date really quickly on Kubernetes. So let's take a break real quick from all of this item talk and all of the things all the lofty goals and things we're going to do with item. Firefox. So we're looking at why the pipeline is failing for this new TMAT feature. This isn't related to cloud or any of my lofty goals right now, but that needs to be done. I'm often come to with TMAT features and bugs. So let's see what this PR is doing. Add a venv uninstall feature. So if ops.get uninstall hub.tmat.command.run pip command uninstall -y the list of things to uninstall. Okay. And it looks like these are all the different ways to add the option to uninstall. Okay, this PR looks pretty simple. So why is the pipeline failing? Recommit passed. Test suite failed on every version of Python. Fun. Hmm. People run tests locally before setting things. It is.
Break and you're just like,
Right, like they pushed their PR without testing it locally, and now it's failing on the pipelines. And
right.
hey, Tyler, can you come fix this test? And it's like, you run the test locally and fix it yourself. I don't mind writing tests, but I hate writing other people's tests, and I hate fixing other tests.
Yeah, it's like
I guess.
ASAP.
Hello, Emma Levy. Thank you for dropping a comment. Nice to see you in the chat. Let's see. Where is this test? Type installing stuff. Analyzing hidden imports. Okay, first off, where does this uninstall happen? I feel like I need multiple tabs for this. Another tab. Everyone thinks Tiamat is named after the dragon in D, and really, the name Tiamat was the goddess of the salt sea, a primordial goddess of creation. And where VMware has a policy against naming things after gods, I think we got away with this one because I don't think there's anyone actively practicing ancient Babylonian religion. Yeah. Hilarious, and it makes sense.
Of course it absolutely. Very specific.
It is very specific. All right, Felipe says he's watching. Welcome, welcome, Felipe. Glad to see you watching. See you watching. Okay, let's see at what point this is. This should be doing this uninstall. Look at this file. Sub alias. Felipe says the feature works, the testing is broken. Do you have a Zoom or something to talk about this? Yes. Since we're streaming, we have Discord. I was planning on doing this anyway today. If anyone wants to participate in the chat, just go ahead and join the Discord. I will post a link in the stream chat. Everyone is welcome to participate. Let me join it real quick. Felipe said he didn't want to get on stream, but now he's coming. It is good to have guests. Okay. I think I can be heard on Discord. Let me make sure Discord can be heard. Good. We're ready. And let me drop this in the Twitch if anyone wants to join Discord. You're welcome to participate in the discussion. Okay. The Felipe says the feature works. It just isn't. The tests fail when we run with it. I'm trying to figure out where the test is failing. Uninstall. Then uninstall. The list is empty. So okay. I don't understand how this could be breaking everything. Oh, never mind. I understand how it can be breaking it. Okay, this is actually going to be a very easy fix. So the test is failing because it's one of the mocks that was expecting very specific arguments. Look, it's expecting this call, but the actual call was this. Look, it's expecting venv uninstall to have square brackets, and instead it got a tuple. Got a list instead of a tuple. That's all that happened to you. I think I know how we can fix this whole bug and put it behind us. I've got it. Let me just edit this PR directly if I can. This is the line that needs to change right here. Edit in web ID. There. Go. Oh, or this could change. Either one. Boom. And we can change this one. I think that's all we need. How do I save? Commit. Need permission to edit files direct project. Yeah, it looks like this is all the issue. Let's see. Build equals false, data is none, dependencies, this, tester, exclude none. Just following along, making sure that. I think really the issue is that it's expecting a list and it got a tuple. Some of the test failures. Yeah, and we really, all that needed to happen was change this to a tuple. This was ben uninstall equals empty list, and it needs to be empty tuple. That's all that needs to change. Test will pass. Oh. So that's what it with that. I'm still gonna leave the Discord open, so if anyone wants to join. Oh, you're in Discord. But you're muted and deafened. Can't hear anything. There we go. Now it looks like you can hear me. All right, I will leave the Discord available. So if anyone else wants to join, you're welcome to participate in the room chat. That's the change that needs to be made. It looks like it was just the unit test that was failing because it was expecting a list, or is expecting a tuple and it got a list. So that's that. I'm wondering if I can. If I can suggest the change. Oh, you've updated the MR. Nice. Let's look at it then. It's passing. Merge when pipeline succeeds. Should I if this merge succeeds, does this justify a new release of POP or of Tiamat? I don't know if you're still watching this. He says, yeah. Tiamat. No one can see the screen. I was just thinking what version of Tiamat we're on. At Tiamat version 7.6. So we'll cut a 7.7. I guess it's just watching the paint dry of make test pass before we move on. Good up these blacks. Tab succeeded. Okay, pre-commit passed. Now it's going to actually run the test. Oh, then it publishes new Docker container. Forgot that we did. all of Knox, Knox tests. On 3, 6 dependency. Integration logs. I think this is further than I got before. I think we're good. I think I'm free. Wait till we get TMX. Oh no. Alright, what's going on this time? Oh, there is another place where we needed Venvinstall. I was expecting for bracket, or was expecting a tuple, and we gave it a list. Nice. What was that in? Oh, the test runs a lot quicker locally. Like it. By this point, Felipe, are you on board with this? This is just another place where the unit test was expecting a tuple and got a list. So the problem here is that pub.opt is immutable because we don't want people to change opt ever. And so once everything has been read from conf.py, once we've read things like this list of venvun install, once it ends up getting put on the hub, pop turns it into a tuple so that no one can change opt. Very bad idea, right, Joe? Never.
Why it's a two?
Yes, that is in conf.py. No, that's not where the change needs to happen. Okay, let's just clone this. Test it locally, fix it locally. Out branch. And I guess I need to share my whole screen now. This full screen. Okay, let's run these unit tests. So I'm going to say pip install -r requirements. Wait, what's my Python here? Pip install -r requirements i9 test.text into my environment. That way I'm using the exact same requirements as there. Now I say PyTest. Now we're running the TMS tests. These are a lot easier to fix locally than to try and debug color. Also open up, let's just open up Python. This is a better tool for editing or for debugging tests. Last night when we were writing all the docs. Okay. File, open. TMS window. Add configuration. Everything. Black messages here. Add configuration. Come on, let me add a. Oh, here we go. PyTest. Target. Emet. There's also some environment. That's only if I need debug. Do top. From the difference. Okay. Fixed one test. Fix this test. Give me a click to see difference. Ah, and this one is missing the Idem install. Done. Yeah, I think that what the needs of these tests. Let's just also look at some of this logic. I don't like this whole if then von install else empty list. Now we're just if this is an empty list, oh, we can pass a tuple of things unless it's empty, in which case turn the empty tuple into an empty list. That's what that's saying. Kind of want to everything is nice and clean. Default. This does want to be a list. Because if the default is a tuple, then it won't be able to append to it. Can't edit a tuple. So we want the conf.py to see it as a list. But once it gets put on the hub, we want it to be a tuple. The default must be an empty list, otherwise argparse won't be able to append things. So our tests will pass if we make the default a tuple, but then suddenly the new feature won't work. I just want this to be here. You want to cast it to a list. Because we can't append a tuple. And yeah, that looks right. And now let's run the unit test and make sure we're passing again. Okay. Something different is happening here. Ah, now instead of getting an empty list, it's getting none. Nice. All good. And just for fun, now let's run our full test suite. Sanity check. It's not passing locally, but it was passing there. I'm going to yellow this. Push it up. You can only see GitLab. Oh, my bad. Did I forget to press full screen? There we go. The two tests are failing, but the unit tests are all passing. And these integration tests were passing on GitLab. So I think I'm ready to let's push it up there. Here changes. Adding that, changing that to none, changing the default back to being a list because argparse, changing this redundant logic into simple, and then converting it to a list right here. Nice. Git add out. Oh, pre-commit's going to want to run the tests. Nice. Now I can probably push to this branch. How do I push to that? Okay. Yes, I'm doing. I realize it's 2 Ps. Now I'm gonna do it like this. Annoy you. Fine. Git at gitlab.com. I think. How do I get what I've just changed to your repo? I'm not a Git wizard. I should be. There. There we go. Used a Git tray pick, and I think I did it. No, I don't get any more info. We're not currently on a branch. How do I move this up to there? Is this what I need to do? Ah, I am so not. Here, I'm gonna make a PR to my own repo. And I'll submit it to yours. We spent way too much time on this. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you've got yours there. I'll just submit my own merge request. All right. They've already got the changes. Where are these? Fix this. There we go. There. I guess it's a race. You've copied over my changes. And I got the changes here too. Let's see which tests passed. Which one do you think is? I mean, these do the same things. We have the same PRs, 20 changes, 6 files. Oh, it looks like we do have some things that are slightly different. Yeah, Sleepy says he doesn't really care. You just make the first one, but whichever of these passes, I don't care either. Like if yours passes first, we'll merge it and we'll release off of it. Now, I know there's a way in Stream Elements to do a bet. Let's do this for fun. Which chat? My MR description is not helpful. There, now it is. Um, yeah. I don't have enough brains. This is more of an experiment. I bet for myself. Not fun, Joe. Whose PR will pass test first?
The PR.
Just fixing the issues with I was trying to commit to Felipe's happening. Ended up pushing my own MR. Oh. Yeah, it looks like he might win. All good. They're basically the same. I think one of us has. Let me see if there is a different car. As long as that conf.py doesn't have. Okay, yeah, it's same. Yeah, I'll just cancel my running pipeline because it's gonna get in the way of Felipe's now, and I'll close my PR. You won, Felipe, against 100% of the votes. So whoever voted for the underdog won. What do we do with that? Fun. Merge request. Okay, looks like it's gonna merge pretty soon. Approval, merge when pipeline succeeds. Building the new Docker images. We need to make some updates to the static X binary. Okay, so I think we'll end the stream on that today. An hour and a half. I've got a lot to figure out with Idem and beacons, and I'm hoping on Friday I'll be able to show off more of what it looks like to have Idem Cloud interact with the Salt event bus. And hopefully that gives, and with the added documentation that me, Em, and Derek are working on, hopefully that gives it, hopefully that opens up Idem Cloud to be inside of Salt. So, from my heads out, that's what's going on here. Any questions? Like, as soon as these tests pass, we're going to release the new TM at 7.7, and we'll close off the stream for the day. So, any final comments? If you enjoyed having a little contest in here. On Friday, remember we have a giveaway, so that's especially good to participate in the stream. And we all have a gift card to the Salt store. And it looks like this passed. It merged. So I'm going to git check out. Run my little script to get reset master. Okay. Now I do the thing that really only I do for some reason. Top release Tiamat 7.7. It's gonna run the integration pass on my local. They passed over here. Hmm. Rebuild mine. The test passed on GitLab. And we need this out right away. So I'm not gonna bother anything all the way. We'll run the full test suite. Okay. Why can't I write my own? We've tagged, we've released. Accomplished the goal. So, any more comments, comments, arguments, or rebuttals? Without any further ado, that is the stream for today. Thank you everyone who participated, and we'll be back on Friday to look more at item cloud and beacons and event bus integration into Salt.